Okay, guys, well, privilege for me to stand here again tonight and share this information with you. It is something that's very close to my heart, as I am very passionate about the bride of Christ, preaching the true gospel in my efforts to help to see a spotless bride presented to Christ. So yes, I'm touching a topic tonight that some people think is ghost stories or conspiracy theories, and I'm asking you to bear with me so that I can come to my true point, and that is to prove to you that the church, as we think it is, has been deceived, although I don't believe that's church. I believe the truth church is not deceived. But anyway, bear with me as I work through the material. Even if you think it's old wives' tales, there's enough proof to prove that it isn't. So give me the benefit of the doubt for 1 hour and hear what I have to say, please. Okay, so let's fall away. Now, we're talking about the Illuminati tonight. So the basic construct of the Illuminati is right at the top, Satan and the fallen angels. They are in direct control of everything. Now, I don't know if you believe it or not, but Scripture tells us that Satan has many powers and can do many signs and wonders, miracle works. He has the power to manifest in a physical form, and in that his fallen angels have the same powers, and therefore there is a company right at the top of the Illuminati called Lucifer Corp, and I believe that is the manifestation of Satan doing his plan on earth. Look, he's not like God, so he can't be everywhere all the time. He has to be one place at a time. So I believe he's right at the top, working things his way. Fallen angels are doing their thing. From a human side, we get right at the top the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the English British royal family, the Pope, those guys. Then underneath them in the hierarchy, we go to secret societies like the Masons, the Knights of the Templar, the Bohemian Grove, the Brothers of Saturnalia, Brotherhood of Saturnalia, things like that. Okay, Skull and Bones. Yes, a lot of things you see on TVs and movies is actually real. Then we go down to the Vatican and policymakers. That's now governments and religious circles. It's not just the Vatican, it's not just the Pope. There's other churches also involved. And we go down to Hollywood and the music industry. Now there we go to the fact that not one musician or actor becomes famous without being part of the Illuminati. They have to do certain sacrifices, rituals, and things to get their next big role for a movie or their next CD to become famous, all those things. One of them is the, what do you call it? To be embarrassed, humiliated. Humiliation is part of their initiation. And you will see many times, for instance, actors, men who act in women's clothing. Robin Williams did Mrs. Doubtfire. The other guy did Big Mama's House. There's a whole lot of them. That's the initiation process. Part of the initiation process into the Satanism, into the Illuminati, is humiliation. That's where that comes from. Okay, so I am still going to do series on the secret societies, on the Vatican, on the Hollywood and the music industry, all those things to show you in more detail. I mean, I've got 15 years worth of research that I'm trying to fit into a quick half an hour here quickly. But I will do other series on this channel about all those things. And underneath Hollywood and the music, you get police and all those 3-letter acronym places. IRS, FBI, CIA, all those guys fall in there. And then it's you and me, the plebs at the bottom. Okay, so as I said, there's the Illuminati, Freemasons, Brotherhood of Saturnalia, Knights Templar, all those guys are in there. Okay, now this is a huge group of people, very powerful people, and they basically rule the whole world. Okay, They rule wars, both sides. They fund and get going. They rule famines. They rule governments. Basically, all the money in the world belongs to them. They see us as uninformed slaves, and they can do with us whatever they want to. Now, you cannot watch a news channel on TV like CNN, CBS, all those guys. That does not belong to them, and they feed you the information they want you to know. Columbine shooting, for instance, I've got visual proof that one of the mothers, apparently, that witnessed the Columbine shooting and spoke on the news channel is the same woman who did the same thing with that marathon where the bomb exploded. I think it was Atlanta or somewhere. The same woman. That's actors. And they're making up news stories. Not saying the event didn't happen. I just say it didn't happen like they say it did. Columbine shooting was a government thing. It wasn't a guy who went mad and started shooting. It was a government thing because they had to institute certain things and they wanted to accomplish that. And the only way to accomplish that was by creating a scenario where that was needed. But we'll go into detail on those things later on. Okay, so yeah, music industry, newspapers, news channels, advertising company, everything in the media belongs to them. Okay. As I said, they are made up out of a whole bunch of secret societies. Some of them are so old that their starting point dates as far back as when Solomon was building his temple in the Old Testament, like the Masons. They started there. Presidents and governments all over the world, they are under their control. They are just puppets in these oaks' hands. And in America, for instance, you get the Democrats and you get the Republicans. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The Illuminati's end goal will play out because they control both sides. Okay? It doesn't matter who's in control. The Illuminati's plan will follow through. Okay? And South Africa, unfortunately, we are also part of the Illuminati. There, that second guy on the list there, Rockefeller, one of the big shots of the Illuminati, that's him shaking Mandela's hand. Now, interesting, you can't be a president if you don't belong to the Masons. So Mandela, 2 weeks before he was released from Robben Island, they actually in secret took him out on a boat to Cape Town, and he got sworn into the Masonic Lodge there in Cape Town, and then taken back to jail again before he became president. Now these guys want to rule the world. They want to kill Christians especially, but also other people. And then they're going to institute the New World Order to do that. Basically, all our human rights will be taken away. We will have curfews and rations and all those things, and they will come forcibly if you have any form of misstep or they suspect anything. They will have the right to shoot or kill at any time and all those things. Our rights will be totally demolished. In America, they've got what they call the Georgia Guidestones. This is a New World Order monument. Illuminati, New Age, whatever. And I want to draw your attention to that, some of that first one of their 10 commandments. Now, all this is, it's those 10 commandments written in different languages on the different sides of the stones. The top one even has Egyptian hieroglyphics for this. So they want the whole world to know what their plans are. And the first one is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. That means what they are not telling you, which is between the lines there, that there's 7 billion people on this planet that they want to kill to get back to 500 million. Okay, so they are busy doing it by whatever they're putting into our foods and spray onto our crops and putting into toothpaste and water purification and spraying in the air with chemtrails and all those things. These are not conspiracy theories. These guys are busy killing us off because that is their plan. Never ever take your child for a vaccine because they are planting stuff in your child that's forming cancers, autism, ADHD. All these things come from whatever they're placing in us. We need to go back to where I'm growing my own tomatoes and sheep so that I can live off the land. That's the only way you can be safe from whatever they're doing. But anyway, some of the symbolism they use, and symbolism is very important for them. So on the left-hand side, the first white block's got some of the Masonic symbolism. There's a sun, there's all-seeing eye, there's the ladder. Remember the ladder for me, please. The two pillars there are very important from them. You'll see on the left-hand side pillar, there's a globe with the degree lines, the gradient lines, or whatever you call them, around the globe. That's an important one to remember. And then I just showed you a couple of others. There's the all-seeing eye and the pyramid, and that one on the right-hand side. There's a couple more. That first one, the yellow and the blue, with a David star with a man inside. That is the mantra of the Satanists, like as above, so below. It's basically representing that. Then there's the hand, which that sign shows the 666. The red V just above that makes me wonder about what was all the predictions they showed us in that series in the 80s V, because it looked the same. I would love to check that again. Then there's all-seeing eye, checkered board again, which I didn't show you on the first one. That's quite an important one, is that checkered board. At the bottom there you see the David star, you see the infinity sign, you see that L. These are all very important signs. You'll see the red versus blue. You'll see that in some logos and stuff. But yeah, these oaks are quite big on symbolism. Now, as important as what the upright pyramid with the eye is, the upside down triangle is just as important, because it represents the conjuring of very powerful demonic forces during a magical, whatever you call it, seance or whatever. Then there's just more Masonic ones with the David star, the compass and the square, the black and white tiles, the anchor. Then I'm showing you the dragon there with a phoenix. The phoenix is a mythological creature. So on Earth, its physical representation is a peacock. I think we've seen that. TV station logos. Who was that? NBC. It's got a peacock. And in South Africa, multi-choice. It's basically got the peacock feathers as a signal sign. Some more Masonic pyramid with a one eye and the David star things in there, and then at the bottom there's hand signals that they also have to show that they are in the Masonic Lodge. Some photos to show you some of the stuff. They've got secret handshakes. So there you see Queen of England and the Pope greeting. Pope pressing his thumb on a second knuckle there, just to tell her he's such a degree in the Masonic Lodge. So both of them know that they're in the same team. There you see Mr. Zuma at the bottom there greeting someone. I take it with all the policemen there that it's probably the chief of police or something. I don't know. But you'll see they're using the same hand signal, same greet, okay? Just to tell each other that we belong to the same brotherhood, must look after each other. Okay, and then I'll just posted there a couple of guys who posed for portraits and photos with their one hand in their jacket. It's a one way to show that you belong to the Masonic Lodge. If you stand like that in a court, all judges are basically Masons. He has an obligation towards you as a brother to get you off with as light as possible a punishment, or to let you go totally free. Okay. Some of the logos. The first block is to do with the Brotherhood of Saturnalia, the worship of Saturn. Now that goes into sun worship and all those things, but I want to show you a little one or two here. I'm not an expert on this, so I'm not sure what all of them mean, but I can show you some of it. Now the first picture right at the top left corner, the company name is Saturn, and you see the planet with a band around it, okay? Now two from there is the Nissan sign, which is the planet, and the Nissan part is the band that goes around it. Skip again, there's another planet with a band, and then Skype is also a round circle with a band around it. That's why it's got a knobbly bit at 11 o'clock and one at 5 o'clock. So it's all about that band. And then I said red and blue is important, red versus blue. You'll see the what is that, chevron or whatever. It's got red and blue arrows pointing down. Valvoline, The oil companies got red and blue. So these guys, in some way, show their allegiance to their god. Internet Explorer has got is a planet with a band around it. There's so many of them. I know that the cube, a black cube, is also part of Brotherhood of Saturnalia, of their worship, and there's some buildings where there's this big black cube on the outside. Now lots of the logos here have got cubes and stuff as well. Moving to the one on the right hand side, that block is more of logos to do with the Illuminati and the Masons. And you will see that most of them are movie things because the movie industry belongs to them. The whole of Hollywood belongs to them. Cigarette companies has got the pyramids on. There's so many. Cat. There we go at the bottom. It's got the pyramid. Infinity, the cars, is also there with the pyramid. These guys has got the pyramid or the one eye thing somewhere in there just to show you who they belong to, who they serve, who their God is, and that you are the enemy. Then we go to Google Play, which is just intersect. I've put it in there. The Google Play looks innocent and everything, that little triangle, but if you know the occult, you'll know there's a symbol for the sigil of Lucifer, which looks like that. And if you look at the lines, it works perfectly with that little triangle of Google Play. Google is a satanic company, people. You don't even have to wonder about it. They are full on Illuminati. Now I've got some more there with the pyramid and the triangles and all those things. That's basically telling us who they belong to, who they worship. And I think one of the more famous ones is the money system of America with that pyramid with the all-seeing eye on. Now there is lots of symbolism in there. The steps to enlightenment, there's 13 there and 33 of this and that and all those things. But yes, the Illuminati are showing us that they are in control of that country. The first picture here is an owl that's being worshipped. Now I know it's going to sound strange, but the guys down there are not weird people. That is presidents and former presidents of America and presidents of the whole world, as well as large company CEOs and so on, like Apple, Samsung. These guys, they are all there worshipping Molech, owl, and he can be traced back to Nimrod's time when Nimrod was basically the start of full-on satanic worship, and Molech was mentioned in the Bible as one of the deities to which they sacrificed live babies in fires in front of him. So here we see the presidents and everybody worshipping Molech. The FBI and the Secret Service close this area off when they are all there, and no one can come in to see what happens in here. This is a guy with the name Alex Jones from InfoWars on YouTube. He exposes the Illuminati and things they do. He's got a lot more information than me, but he was able with a friend to slip in via a river into Bohemian Grove, and they recorded the whole weekend on their phones. So these rituals then appeared on YouTube and internet, where they showed us what these presidents and very rich people are doing. If you think I'm talking nonsense, the photo on the bottom right there is the White House, where the American government is, and you will see the gardens and stuff around it is in the shape of the owl. This is their god. This is who they worship. This is wrong. This is satanic. On the money system as well, on the $1 bill, you will see there's a little blotch there in the one corner, and when you enlarge it, you find that it is an owl again. These guys worship Molech. Okay? They're hiding it in plain sight in front of us, thinking we're stupid, we don't notice, but we do. Okay? And now you know as well, so you've got no excuse. Now, what they want to accomplish, the New World Order basically is working for the Illuminati, so it's their plan, is a one world government. They want a one world money system and a one world religion. Now, the secret about these three obelisks that you see here, two of them is very famous. The one's not that famous, but people know of it. The two on the sides is one in America, in Columbia, Washington, D.C., and the other one is in the Vatican, in Italy. And then the middle one is actually in London, on the banks of the Thames River. Now, Everybody knows that the Vatican is a sovereign state on its own. It's not part of Italy. It's just in Italy, but it's got its own government, own flag, own laws, all those things. Now, what people don't know is that Columbia, the area where the government of America is, that neighborhood in Washington, D.C., is also a sovereign state on its own, got its own laws, own flag, own ruling party, covenant, or whatever. And then also in London. In London City, it's about 8 or 9 square blocks, a radius of 9 or 8 blocks, is where all the banking headquarters from all the banks all over the world is there, and it's not called London City. That part is called the City of London. So there's London City, which is the whole City of London, and inside that is the City of London, and that is also a sovereign state on its own with its own government, own laws, own flag, everything. In fact, London City has a mayor, and the City of London has a mayor as well. Very few people know this, but the information is available online and you can find it. But what I'm trying to get to is that if you know what the New World Order, what the Illuminati's plans are, and that the New World Order wants to do this one world government, one world money system, one world religion, if you look at this, you will realize that the plan is much more advanced than what we thought it is, because they are already set up to play out their plan. They've got the headquarters for the one world government in America, they've got the headquarters for the one world money system in London, and they've got the headquarters for the one world religious system in Italy. They're already set up and ready to go. They're just playing out the smaller parts of the plan now before they release the New World Order and impose it on us. But yeah, on this video clip, I am looking at as the one world government, where they're going. And I'm really summing up so much information here just in a short time, so I'm not doing it justice, but I'm showing you something just to get you aware that this is a possibility, that this is happening, okay? This is in 1961. This was basically from this council that FEMA was created. FEMA is supposed to be the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and I said supposed to be because I believe it's much more than that. It is a dark government, a secret government, and it is going to be the force behind the New World Order catching. If you think of end times prophecies and all those things that people are talking about, the general consensus is that the New World Order will be chasing down Christians and killing them. You have to stand there with a gun against your head, with a choice to deny your Christ, and you have to stand strong and die. And I believe FEMA is going to be the force to do that part of the thing. I want you to listen to him here. Not that he's speaking of FEMA, it's just on this meeting, but on this meeting he said some other things as well that's quite interesting.
Mr. President, honored delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we shall propose further cooperative efforts between all the nations in weather prediction and eventually in weather control. We shall propose, finally, a global system of communication satellites linking the whole world in telegraph and telephone and radio and television. The day need not be far away when such a system will televise the proceedings of this body to every corner of the world for the benefit of.
Did you hear how casually he puts in, we propose weather control? With a satellite system that's in place, weather control is a possibility. There are people who reckon that the satellites are geared with the tools to do weather control. Now, apart from, I don't know what happens in this space, but on Earth, there is a project called HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. HAARP is a system with which they can cause earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, whatever. They can keep rain away and they can make rain. Things like that. HAARP is a dangerous thing to be in anybody's hands. But it is a reality and it is there. So from the 60s here where they said they want to control the weather until now, they have been doing it. I've got video clips of HAARP working. I have got video clips of another tool that they've got that makes a cloud. It stands on the ground, but it makes a cloud, and it rains within half an hour. So these guys are already controlling the weather, people. And South Africa is one of the big partners in the research done with HARP. So it's a funny thing to think of South Africa that way, but we are one of the 4 or 5 countries that are main players in HARP. Satellites are not just a communications telescope, it's also a spy system. So, yeah, we are being spied, and your phone, if you don't know it, but your phone is not there for you to make calls. It is there for them to keep track on you. It's all about information, and your cellular phones were designed as a tracking system worldwide to keep them informed about us and our actions. Okay. Now, FEMA, as I said, was created to help people who are victims of disasters and natural disasters. So FEMA was ordered to build camps where they can house people. They've got 800 of these camps already all over America. I see they started building camps in England now as well. These camps in America, the 800, can house 2.5 million people at this stage. So it's quite big and everything, but the finer detail is when you go look at these camps. That's where the scary stuff comes in. All these camps don't look like humanitarian aid camps. They look like concentration camps. Some of them up to 3 sets of barbed wire fences around them. There's guarded towers with armed soldiers. There's spotlights and speaker systems and all those things. Guarded, weaponized guards walking around. This is not humanitarian, people. This is them preparing for doing what the end times prophecies tell us is going to happen. Catching evangelical Christians and killing them. Okay? So, I might be making up stories, but this is my conclusion. I found these. There's a whole bunch of farms that's being rented by the government, and on them is stacked millions of these black coffins, disposable coffins. Okay, apparently can handle 4 to 5 bodies per coffin. So they are certainly preparing for a lot of deaths, whether it's natural or what, but I don't think so many natural deaths is going to happen. And if you look at Revelations, and I'm going to lie now, but I think it's about Revelations 20, around about there, it says that the one guy, one of the beasts or whatever, had permission to kill 1/4 of the world's population. That is 1.88 billion people. And then if you read a little bit further, the next one got permission to kill 1/3 of the population that was left. If you go look at what is left from 7.5 billion that we are today, it is another 1.88 billion people. No wonder they need so many coffins, eh? Okay, now, when Obama was president, he passed Obamacare. And in Obamacare, one of the rules that was passed there was that they can harvest the organs of people who are executed. Okay, so what happened was, never ever in the history of America has a video been made of an execution. Because why? They take your phones away and all those things if you go in there and all that. You cannot take a photo or a video of an execution happening. Okay, but when Obamacare was made to go through, suddenly, by all chances of luck, a video appeared on YouTube of an execution. And it just so happened to be that this specific video, the first time ever that was made of an execution that went wrong. The sponges under the contacts on the guy's head was not wet. They didn't water them. So instead of the guy shocking to death, he was burned to death. He caught fire. And Obama made a big scene about how inhumane the electric chair is, and therefore passed a law that they are allowed to once again execute by guillotine. And America ordered 30,000 guillotines. 1,000 guillotines. Does the dots connect for you? The camps that is seriously guarded, got train tracks running through them so they can drop off and take away as quickly as possible. All the coffins they're heaping up, all the guillotines they've got, the fact that they can harvest our organs. People, the New World Order is coming for us, and it's time for us Christians to wake up. Especially if we get to the end of this presentation and we see that we are caught up in their church, so that we can go with them. They are going to kill the real evangelical Christians. And at this stage, most people who think they are Christian is actually safe because they're far from being Christian. Now, the one world money system, I do not have lots of information on this because the finances and politics is quite boring for me. But anyway, I know Donald Trump recently went to a meeting in Japan, and afterwards I saw the media conference they had afterwards, and the wording that he used, everybody is saying that he is insinuating that the one world money system is much closer than what we think, because he used terms like soon and very soon. The playing field for the trade of the world will be a lot more level, things like that. So people are saying that he is hinting that the one world money system is what he's working on. Okay, then the one world religion, obviously it won't be a Christian church because it's going to be the church of the Antichrist, and that is why they chose the Roman Catholic Church, because the Roman Catholic Church is not a Christian church. Friends, there is no way, if your church is promoting us getting closer to or breaking down the walls or whatever to the Roman Catholic Church, your church is a place that you need to get away from, because they are then also propagating that you should worship with a Satanist. Okay, this church belongs to Satan. It is not godly, it is not Christian, it is not just a little bit off the mark. It is satanic and demonic and finished and clear. There's no two ways about it. In this video clip that I'm going to show you now here is the Pope who wanted to make two previous popes saints, and we make sure that this whole event is
Seus Lucifer matutius inveniat, ille in quam Lucifer qui nescito casum Christus filius tuus, qui regressus ab inferis humano generis serenus iluxit, et tecum vivit et regnat in saecula saeculorum.
They hope that his humility and simplicity.
People, he just sang that Lucifer, their God, is the father of Jesus Christ. Now, if you can find any way that you can justify worshipping with someone from this church, you know that you have been duped, you have been brainwashed, and you're on your way to hell as well. Light has no business mixing with darkness. Okay, that newspaper article there says Pope Francis on a frantic quest to unite all religions under Rome. So the one world government, one world religion is all the religions must come under one flag of the Roman Catholic Church. But what caught my eye was the frantic quest, because that tells me there's a timeline and it's close. And he's doing whatever he can to get the churches under their wing as quickly as possible. Okay, now they're praying to Mother Mary. Obviously, that's idolatry as well. Bible prohibits us bending the knee to any other person but God. And there we have it. They do. There's the sun worship. They believe that wafer actually becomes the physical body of Jesus Christ. And that's why they hold him up to the sun and they offer him up to the sun god. When they give it to you in your mouth, they put a little cloth or a plate or a cup underneath your chin so that if Jesus falls, he doesn't fall on the ground. But the main thing goes, it's sun worship. So when they parade that wafer through the city streets or through the church or whatever, they put it in that middle thing, which is called the Eucharist. That's a sunburst. They put the wafer in there in the middle. You see it there as well. And then they parade it through that because it is about the sun, that sunburst. They worship the sun in Roman Catholicism. So people, we cannot stand shoulder to shoulder with these people singing worship songs. We can't do it. If we do, or if we see someone do, then we know they're Satan. So they sold out to Satan as well. Okay, I'm not over exaggerating or anything like that. I'm serious about this. God is serious about us being separate, coming out from these things, not being mingled with them, not mixing with them. We're not even allowed to enter. They're not even allowed to enter our house and share supper with us. That's what the Bible teaches. God is serious about us, and He will hold you accountable for being in these things, being with these things, affiliating with them, supporting them, singing their songs, doing their things. You will pay for that. It's one of those things. We need to get out of these churches and away from them because they are satanic. Now, the Illuminati does think that we are uninformed, unintelligent plebs, slaves, that they can do with whatever they want to. And they find it very amusing to place things right in front of our eyes, to tell us things and see if we can realize it. And yes, in a sense, they are right. We are stupid because we only see these things in hindsight, not while they're warning us before the time. Let me give you one example. 7 months before 9/11, this Johnny Bravo show came out. And in the back there on that video shop, there's a poster that says coming soon, but there's no video poster. All you see is the reflection of the city behind them, and there's the burning towers. 7 months before the time. 4 years before 9/11, this Simpson cartoon was on TV, and it said New York, $9, and there's the Twin Towers, but together it makes 9/11. We were warned. Terminator, 10 years before 9/11. Arnold Schwarzenegger chases through this right-hand side with his motorbike, and as he goes through, it explodes. But first, before it explodes, this camera zooms in on caution, 9/11, 9 foot 11 inches, but it's caution 9/11, and then this thing explodes. They're telling us what's going to happen. In the 80s, this game came out called the Illuminati board game, and amazingly, it's even got the Pentagon on one of the cards burning, and the Twin Towers is burning. Okay, so these guys knew in the 80s already what they're going to do with the Twin Towers. It wasn't Al Qaeda, it was the Illuminati, and they used the government of America to do it. On the American money, they printed these new set of prints in 1997, 4 years before 9/11. Now, there's a park a bit away from the Twin Towers. In this park, there is a arch. I can't remember the name. I will research it and do a series with more detail on everything. But there is this arch in this park, and there's a fountain in the park. Now, if you stand at where the fountain is supposed to be, I'll explain that just now, and you look through the arch, this is what you see. You see the Twin Towers being built with the arch over it. That's why it's around at the top. The next one, you see the Twin Towers already built, and the right-hand side is on fire. The next one, both of the Twin Towers are on fire. Come down to the bottom, first one here, and you see the Twin Towers tumbling down. But you will see the arch on all of them. Then the middle one at the bottom is no Twin Towers. They've already fallen. It's now clear sky there through the arch. And then there's the fountain in the arch. Now what happened was, there was a huge commotion because the government spent a couple of $1 million to move the fountain in this park 1.5 meters or 2 meters. Something small and stupid, but they spent a huge amount of money to do it. The people complained about this, but the whole thing was, the fountain was built in the wrong place right in the beginning when the Freemasons built this place. So they moved it now so that it is in line with the arch and where the Twin Towers was, and that's what the last one is about, the fountain. Now, this is all predicted, even to the detail of the fountain being moved, because in the second last one, the fountain is not there. Okay, so after the Twin Towers fell, they did move this fountain. So everything is on there, on the money, showing us that they knew about it, they planned it, and we're falling for their lies. We think it's Al-Qaeda, oh, terror, terror, terror. No, it's these guys doing their thing. If you think 10 years, 20 years is bad, this is 1967. Sorry, that's a typo there. It's not 1961. It's 1967. Newsweek magazine. The old toppie that you saw shaking hands with Mandela now, Mr. Rockefeller. This is him when he was still young. Sitting in his office in one of his buildings. And in the background, you see New York behind him. Now, out of the picture just to the left, that's where the Twin Towers were being built. And this specific article was about the groundbreaking for the Twin Towers. So the first shovel went into the ground and they're now going to start building the foundations. So the Twin Towers was not even built yet. The magic thing is that's on his property that it was built, and he built it. Okay. Now I took his watch, zoomed in, and turned it upside down so it's like we will see it, just to show to you that his watch hands in 1967 is already on 9 and 11. He was already then telling us it's going to happen on 9/11. If you think I'm just crazy, the symbolism and the numerology is very important to them. So let me show you some more of it. If you fold the magazine open, there's a cigarette ad at the back. And that guy with his t-shirt with the two red towers, basically Twin Towers on fire, is standing exactly where the Twin Towers basically is going to be. If you look at the date of the magazine, April 3rd, 1967, 3rd of the 4th month, so 34 plus 1967 comes to 2001. 9/11 happened in 2001. These people were already in the 60s telling us they're going to do this. It was the Rockefeller, the boss of the Illuminati, one of the high ones. It was already the Illuminati's plan in 67. They're telling us things and we're not seeing it. Now, isn't it scary to think about what they're telling us with movies like Transformers with the Decepticons and with Avengers and the Endgame and all those things? Isn't it scary to think about why are we seeing so many zombies? Yeah, well, I'll do a series on that as well for you because there's lots of information there. And Jesus answered them, see that no one leads you astray. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. Not a few, many. So expect mega churches, eh? Clues are there. And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. Then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. So there is a group of people that can't be led astray, and that's the elect. So we need to go look at that, who those are. Okay? For such men are false. No, I'm not going on with the elect now. I'm just saying in another series I will look at the elect. For now, let's stick to this. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond to their deeds. People, God is saying to us that in front of your church is a pastor. He looks like a servant of righteousness, but he works for Satan if you are in one of their churches. Okay? That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. So, if the Illuminati is just an old wives' tale, if it is just a ghost story, if it is just a conspiracy theory, explain to me why all these artists are doing the symbolism for the one eye, the all-seeing eye, which is the main sign of Illuminati. These guys are the propaganda wing of the Illuminati. They get the message out. Okay, in their songs, in the movies, whatever. Not one of them can become famous without being part of the Illuminati. They have to sell their soul. They have to sell their souls to become famous. There's lots of proof and theories that as soon as these guys become repentant about their involvement here, and they try to break away and start speaking out against it, that they do somehow suddenly die of a suicide or accident or something. I will do a series on that as well, because there's lots of proof, evidence that when people start talking against the Illuminati, they get taken out, normally in threes. Michael Jackson was one, Paul Walker was one, Bob Marley was one. There's a lot. But I'll do a series on that as well. What I want you to see now is the symbolism. Them holding their one eye closed, always the same side, to show you that I work for the Illuminati. I am the voice of the Illuminati. And, yeah, they open about it. Okay? But there's the sign. You see what it looks like. Now, what I've got here is just half of it. The others use, say, for instance, the hair to hang over the one eye. Sometimes they only take a picture of half of the face to show the one eye and things like that. Okay, but there is definite symbolism here, and they're telling us who they're working for. Like DC Talk, for instance. They hide it well because they made it look like a thorn crown and a cross in the middle. But the fact that the pupil is drawn in and the iris is drawn in, it tells me this is an eye. All-seeing eye. Same one. Toby Mac used to be in DC Talk, and now he's on his own. He's got the same eye on it. Yeah, guys, there's Skillet with Wake. Sounds somewhere New Age, but anyway. With his eye. Now, it can be made to sound Christian. I mean, we can say this is Lazarus waking up after Jesus raised him up from the dead by calling him. But Lazarus didn't have one open eye, so no, this is them giving us the symbol that we belong to the Illuminati. We belong to Satan. We are busy taking you for a ride. We're busy leading you to hell. And in the shocker, Darlene Sheikh, oh, they have such wonderful worship CDs, but no, she's sitting here with an eye, nicely hidden in the Orthodox Christian and Celtic symbolism, but it's an eye. And you're going to now argue with me because of Darlene Sheikh CDs and music ministry and everything, but therefore I decided that the rest of this presentation will only be about Hillsongs. Let me show you. There's one of their CD covers. When I was in the 80s, a teenager, my mom and dad prohibited me from buying CDs that belonged to Zig Zig Sputnik, ZZ Top, Kiss, because they all had this satanic lightning strike for the S. And there it is, behind the Hillsong CD. Now, they can easily explain it away because it's power, a house, and that represents electricity and everything. My friends, nothing is just here for the fun of it. They are telling us who they are. Now, I told you that the Hillsongs, no, I didn't tell you. Recently, Hillsongs partnered up with the Roman Catholic Church. That might sound like a shocker. I've got photos of Darlene Sheikh where she met the Pope. I've got photos where she led a worship session for him. They have partnered up with the Roman Catholic Church, and this CD cover is explaining exactly what they're doing. That ladder there, they can easily explain away as the ladder of Jacob, but no, I did show you on the Freemason symbolism. There is the ladder there, the path climb to enlightenment. Then if we come back to the bottom here, you see this man wrestling with a tiger or a leopard or a lion or something. Now, that can be easily said, justified by saying it's either David or Samson, because that's the two that fought with lions. But if you go into Roman mythology, you will find Hercules fighting with a lion. There's a statue of it as well. Those stairs that they're drawn there is in the Vatican City. There's the stairs. I don't know what saint stairs it is, but it's also the path to enlightenment. We get to the heart there with the crown and the cross. That is a Roman Catholic symbol, and it's found in the Mother Mary that I showed you now. In her chest was the same picture. And then we go up to the sun, who is what the Roman Catholic Church worships. The sunburst, and we got there the sun. Coming back to this side, we got the peacock. I told you the peacock is a physical representation of the phoenix on earth, because the phoenix is a mythological creature. There we have it. Between the peacock and the lion, there's a little lamp thingy there. The flame is not burning, but it is the same lamp thingy that the Kabbalah uses to show their logo of the eternal flame. Okay, these people are sold out to Satan. They're not shy about it. We've got this one here. I know people are going to say I'm making too much out of it, but I have been studying the occults for quite a while, and the upside down triangle and the upright triangle represents powerful things in the magical world and demonic world. So satanic world. The upright one is about the all-seeing eye and the path to enlightenment and all those things. And the downward one is the conjuring of powerful demons and stuff like that. It's also the above and below type thing, which we will go in deeper to just now. But yes, that is a blatant message, although it can be passed off as I'm making too much of it. This is our God CD with that little thing inside. Hillsong's This is Our God, and they're showing the goat's head. Now, I don't care how you try to explain it, whether it's a sheep head or a goat head. Christ has never ever been compared to a goat or a full-grown male sheep. He has always been a lamb, and they don't have horns. Okay? If this is Hillsong's God, you can know who he looks like. Someone with horns, eh? They serve Satan. They're not shy about it. This is their new stage, the highlight of their church, where, according to Scripture, the pulpit is the highlight of church. But these guys, the stage is, obviously, because they have to get something to hook you with and drag you to hell with them. On the stage, the prominent thing is the big pyramid they've got going there. I've seen shows where they light up the tips, as with the Masonic signs that was on the Olympic Stadium in London, where they lit up just the top triangle part of the pyramids that they built. There was 33 pyramids in the Olympic Stadium, which is the 33 Masonic degrees. Here they got the same pyramid, and they do light up the tip there. I've seen skulls and stuff in the smoke in the pyramid itself, in the body, being projected on there. There's a big circle there that just makes me think of the eye. I'm not saying it is what it is, but the pyramid is definitely a sign that we are part of the Illuminati. I want to show you this because I need to go to the next CD cover of the I Am. When God appeared to Moses in the burning bush, Moses said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am." When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane and the soldiers came, they said, "Are you the Christ that we're looking for?" And he said, "I am." It was so powerful, they fell backwards. Now, Satan was thrown out of heaven because he wanted to be the I am. And ever since then, he is still trying to be the I am. And you will see these satanic people, they're definitely not Christian. You will see them using that I am mantra. And although they sometimes disguise it in a little sentence, they're still going for the I am. There's the first one, I am. M&M, the way I am. There's Nicki Minaj with the I am. There's Beyonce with I am. Sasha Fierce. Now, Sasha Fierce is her alter ego, the demonic possession. When the demon takes over, she's Sasha Fierce, okay? But I am is what I want to show you there. I Am Bold is the soundtrack of the movie, but I want to draw your attention to the fact that I am is what it's all about. That's why it is written in a different font than the bolt. I am you, different color than the you. I am as I am, and there I am, I was. The I am is a satanic mantra, and it is them placing themselves in the place of God. I'm not going to go into the whole I am thing, but I am is also what the church preach nowadays. I am rich, I am healthy, I am powerful enough in my faith to get those things. I have the power in my mouth to say it because I am a little God. That is Satan's teachings in the church. Now, this is Hillsong's again. I am. Not shy about it, that they use this demonic mantra, satanic mantra. There's the upside down triangle, which is conjuring up of very powerful demonic forces. There's the infinity sign. There is the circle with a dot in the middle is the bindi. It's also used in magical spells and stuff. The 11 represents the two pillars of the Freemasonic Lodge, the Boaz and the other one, I can't remember his name. Then there's the checkboard of the Masonic Lodge. Everything is there. It looks like I'm showing the symbolism of the Masonics, but it's a Christian CD. No, it's not. It's a satanic CD. Nice words, but trust me, as beautiful as it sounds, they've got their doctrine in there to lead you astray, to change your way of thinking about God and who He really is, and to follow their gospel of we are more important than what we are, and God is less important than what He is. That is a poster they had at some stage, but what I want to draw your attention to is the sign in the background there. It is part of the Kabbalah alphabet. Okay, the dark witchcraft came out of the Judaism, the Kabbalah. Okay, there's the same sign. It's not like they just did something because it looked good and only realized later, or never realized it's bad. They know what they're doing. There's it again on the tops that they're selling. And then, of course, the place where you go sit and recharge a bit in the coffee lounge, that's where you get your power from. That's the Kabbalah again. These guys are sold out. They know what they're doing. They're not plebs. They know exactly what they're doing. This is Baphomet. Same horns as this is our God. No, this is Baphomet. I want to draw your attention to his one hand up and one hand down, black moon, white moon. Now there's a thing for the Satanist. It's as above, so below. Okay, so what it means is that God is everything, according to them. Okay, it's everywhere and everything. And what they're saying with as above, so below is that I am one of the atoms that make up my God, but I am a God to the atoms that make me. Okay, so it's like a vicious circle thing. You're an atom to your God, he's an atom to his God, he's an atom to his God, wada. So it goes on. Now they're represented in many different ways. One of them is the tree and the fruits, as above, so below. Please take note of the black and the white, because that is the duality thing of as above, so below. And you see the yin yang is in the same colors. There's a black pope and a white pope. You don't know about it, but there is. I'll do a thing about that one day as well. But yes, it's all about the duality of Satanism, that thing, as above, so below. Okay, then you get these things. The obelisk obviously is a Illuminati sign, a Masonic sign. But the satanic side comes in with this pool of reflection, which gives the same building to the bottom. So the real building is the as above, and the reflection is the as below. And then there's the two triangles, one up and one down. Okay, forms, if you pull them together, it forms the David star, which is not a Christian sign. It's from the Kabbalah, it's from satanic things, and yeah, the one is as above, other one represents as below. And yeah, they're not shy about it. I want you to watch Carl Lenz. He's the main pastor of New York Hillsongs. This is where he reads from the Satanic Bible, the Message. I call it that because it's what it is. He reads from that, and he says it makes a lot of sense what he's reading. So let's hear what he reads.
Howard's probably going to come here, whatever. Matthew chapter 6 is a setup prayer. Jesus was setting people up. Church in the wild. And there's this phrase, I'm going to read it from the Message. It's not a direct translation, it's a paraphrase, but it's good. It makes a lot of sense. Here's what he said. Our Father in heaven, reveal who you are. Set the world right. Do what's best. As above, so below.
As above, so below. It makes sense to him because he is a Satanist. He is one of Satan's workers that appears to be a servant of righteousness that the Bible warns us about. And it's not just Hillsongs. It is all of these churches. There's Bobby Houston, the one eye on the cover. She's the wife of main pastor of Sydney Hillsongs, Brian Houston. She's doing the one eye thing there, and then she's got the I am worked in there. I am sisterhood. Sisterhood's all broken up. I am was made in one line. But if you type in I am sisterhood, you get to a witchcraft site. Now, I'm not for one moment saying that Hillsongs is connected to that. It's just strange that she chose that title. They are on the same level as witchcraft because they are satanic. This is a site where Bobby Houston's sermons are being held or made available. Strange that the site is called Owl Tail. I showed you the owl that is being worshipped by the Illuminati big shots. Owl Tail, that's where her sermons are held. This is a worship session in their church, and that's screen on the back there, it says, "He has risen," with a scripture. And then the owl in the background, they're showing us who they're worshipping and who's risen. It's Molech. They worship the same God. Sorry about this. These are satanic things, but I need to show this. You see a priestess there, then you see the candles, red and black. You see the wedding at the bottom there, the red and black. And then there's a very vulgar and vicious satanic coven in Mexico there. But I want you to see that black and red, that's their colors. They like the red thing. That is what it looks like in there. Now there's, oh no, that's not a satanic coven. That is Hillsong's London 2016 with their Easter celebration. These guys in the front here in the bottom corner all look like slaves and demons and things. And then in front of them was a witch doctor walking in, casting spells over the people sitting in the chairs. This is in our church, people. The whole crucifixion part was about 10 seconds. Okay, the rest was just Satan and his cohorts having a feast, a celebration because of their victory. So the main focus was Satan's victory instead of Christ's victory on the cross. Okay, satanic. This is a ritual. It's all that was taking place in this church. This is a brand new video of Hillsongs that came out called Peace. The words, if you listen to them, sounds beautiful, but when you look at this movie and you have any idea what its occultic rituals look like, you will immediately realize this is a baptism into the occult. Let me explain the video quickly. These ladies were sitting, those ones sitting on boxes in the back there. There's 4 of them and they're facing this way. And this one standing here with a light on her face, she was kneeled facing that way in the front of that building. They all had crowns on their heads, which shows me this is the 5 churches bride already with Christ. And I believe it's probably the 5 main churches, Sydney, Cape Town, New York, London and Stockholm, of Hillsongs that's represented in this video. Because if you know what the video is about and you understand that recently when they joined up with the Catholic Church, Hillsongs, they took a tour to the 5 main churches, basically, I take it, to go and work with the leaders of those churches about where they're moving to and what they're doing, because they are now full on satanic. Now, in the back here where this woman is walking to, there is a lady that is fully dressed in scarlet red. She is the whore of Revelations in Revelation 17. And if you go read there, it says she's on a beast with 7 heads, and the 7 heads are actually hills. And that can only mean that the whore of Revelation is the Church of Rome, because that is, the city of Rome is in between 7 hills. Okay, so knowing that they are now affiliated with the Roman Catholic Church as part of the New World Order, one religion, all religions under one umbrella thing, they are now part of the Church of the Antichrist. It makes sense that the Scarlet Woman is enticing her in the background here by singing, because as she sings, this light shines from this red woman onto this woman. Then demonic hands in a shadow takes the crown off her head and throws it down on the floor. I'm saying demonic hand because it was like very curly, witchy like fingers with long, weird nails. Everything was dark and everything, so you just saw a silhouette of the hands, but it looked like witch hands, basically, like they do them in the cartoons. Threw the crown down, which means the denial of Christ. This light shining on her is enticing her more and more and more as the Scarlet Lady sings, and she walks towards the Scarlet Lady. While she's doing that, there's visuals showing on the stomachs of the 4 ladies sitting there, the brides. And if you look at the video, also, I don't believe it's women sitting there, it's men, because you can see their bodily features when they stand up. It's men's legs and stuff, and yeah, I don't know what they're trying to say with that, but anyway. So they've got this thing showing on their stomachs, which I believe represents them being influenced by what Rome is saying as well, as the enticement of this main church. And anyway, when this lady, the main church, walks all the way up to where the light hits her eyes and she's now fully enlightened, the blood baptism happens, and this red liquid falls over and she's now baptized into it. If you know the occult, you'll know this is a satanic ritual of baptizing into Satanism. And I believe it's them giving the message that they are now part of the Roman Catholic Church, a part of the Church of the New World Order, the one world government religion thing. Okay. They are sold out. They are not to be co-partnered with, not to be supported, not to use their CDs for worship, nothing. Get away from them. Be separate from them. Run away. Save your life. That type of thing. Now, the Roman Catholic Church here at the Alpha Course of Hillsongs, 5 priests, full regalia, holding up the wafer to the sun god that they worship, and they are accepted by all these people because they are so brainwashed into Satanism that they don't realize what they're busy with. But there's the proof that the Roman Catholic Church is holding Mass in Hillsongs with Hillsongs people. They are serving the same God. Klar. There's no way around it. This is called the coat of arms of the Antichrist. Okay, this one specifically belongs to Prince Charles. Okay, now there's various different variants of it. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but this is the coat of arms of the Antichrist. This is what it's called. You will find the variants of it on cigarette boxes, booze bottles, everything. It's everywhere, people. It's everywhere. Even on our Christian channels, because they are not Christian, they are satanic. This is TBN's coat of arms. Same lion, same white horse, and they got that beautiful picture of the Holy Spirit in the middle there, but it's not. First of all, that's a Celtic cross, and that dove, it does not represent the Holy Spirit. Aleister Crowley is the father of the Satanic Church, and he drew this. This is his logo for Baphomet. There's that upside down pigeon as well. And then if you just look up at the crown on the TBN thing, there's that black cross. And if you look in this Grail, Holy Grail thing here at the bottom of the Aleister Crowley drawing, there's the same black cross. These guys are serving Satan. They make as if they are Christian, and they are duping uninformed Christians, people who don't read their Bible enough. They are making them believe that this is Christianity when it's not. It's satanic-y. Yeah. Anyway, I held this one for now because I did show some of it earlier on. Remember the board game in the 80s that came out with the Twin Towers and the Pentagon cards that was on fire and everything? This same card is in that same game. This is TV Preachers. It's part of the Illuminati plan. Now he's holding a Bible and he's preaching, and he's got money shaking up and down in the one hand there. Why? Because this is satanic. This is an Illuminati plan. And they are stealing your money, robbing your money. It could have gone to a real church. Not someone who's buying 20 jets and living in a $6 million house. You could have given it to a church that feeds people and poor and spread Bibles. But no, people are supporting the satanic church rather. Because the Bible says people will not choose the light because they love the darkness. There's so many false Christians that think they are Christian, but they're not really, and their fruit show it. There's Joel Osteen. Remember I showed you the Masonic hand signals? He's basically doing every single one of them on the list while he's preaching. He is a Masonic man. He loves the devil. Taking you for a ride. There's Penny in with the signals. There's all of them showing you who their God is, who they serve, secretly. But they are dressed up as servants of righteousness, spreading lies and blasphemies, and people are eating it up, believing every single word. This is the Kabbalah, the middle one, the Kabbalah's eternal flame. It is dark witchcraft, dark magic, formed out of the Judaism, not to be tampered with. It is satanic, it is evil, and yet Quinonia House has got the same flame. Jack Van Imp Ministries has got the same flame. Christian Broadcast Network, Satan Broadcast Network, has got the same flame. And the 700, the 666 Club, it's got the same flame. These guys are satanic. Joel Osteen, his church, has got the same flame. It's there, people. They're showing you you are supposed to take responsibility for your Christianity and run away from these things. This is the test. Are you a true Christian or not? Do you run from these things or do you justify them? That's where the magic comes in. The proof eats the pudding. What's the similarity you see between Kenneth Copeland's church and Joel Osteen's church? I would say it's that globe in the back, eh? with the lines? Well, I showed you in the Masonic symbolism that the globe is quite an important one of theirs with those lines over. So, no, these guys are showing you who they belong to, who they serve, and yet you open your Bible there and think they're from God. Okay, read the scripture when you have time. It speaks about the scarlet whore that's on the beast with the 7 heads, and people, the world will marvel and fall at her feet, and all the world is carried away by her magic and sexual immorality. Now, sexual immorality in the scripture is not speaking about the deed. It is speaking about serving other gods. If you are with these churches, you are serving a different God. It's not that you're in error. It's not that they're just preaching one or two things. No, you're serving a different God. And God is very serious about that. And He's telling you here in Revelations what's going to happen. Okay. This is Revelations 18 verse 1 to 4, once again speaking about an angel that came, and which I believe is Jesus, and he says, Babylon is fallen, the great, she's fallen, and he says, come out of her, or I will add all the plagues that this Bible speaks of to you as well, when I add it to her. So the same punishment these Satanists will get, you are going to get for being part of it. I have warned you. It is your responsibility as a Christian to break away from these things. It is in finding out these things that you have to make up your mind to prove to God that you are His or not His. Well, you can't prove to God. He already knows what's going on in your heart. It's actually proving to yourself, do you belong to God or not? Because you have to take a stand and run away from these things. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because these things, the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore, do not become partners with them. Okay? Easy as that. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true. And try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful to even speak of the things that they do in secret. People, don't justify why you are stuck in these churches. Don't justify why you are sending these guys money. Don't justify why you're sitting with Hillsong's worship CDs. Don't justify why you're watching TBN and Daystar and all these crap channels. God is saying that you need to get out of them, that you should not partner up. Therefore, do not become partners with them. For what? Darkness does not mix with light. It's the scripture here. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14 to 18. Do not be unequally yoked with the unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? What fellowship has light with darkness? What accord has Christ with Belial? Or what portion does a believer share with an unbeliever? What agreement has the temple of God with idols? For we are the temple of the living God. As God said, I will make my dwelling among them and walk among them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Now listen to this. Therefore, go out from their midst. Get away from them. Stop watching TBN. Stop sending them money. Stop listening to Hillsong CDs. Stop following these churches. Get out of your church if it's one of these churches. Go out from their midst and be separate from them. Totaal and all. Leave them totally, says the Lord. And if you do that, then listen. And touch no unclean thing. Okay? And only then, when you've come out of these things and then left them, not supporting them anymore, not doing the things you learned from them, only then I will welcome you, and I will be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says the Lord Almighty. People, there's no way for you to justify you sitting there. You're going to hell, because it's only when you come out of it that God will adopt you as a child. Thank you for listening to me. I do pray and hope